وإني على ثقة من طريقي إلى الله رب السنا والشروق فإن عافني السوق أو عاقني فإني أمين لعهد الوثيق فإني أمين لعهد الوثيق
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His final messenger, Muhammad. Islam is really an independent concept when it comes to explaining and directing life and all of existence. Islam is a divine concept that brings a unique method, and from this flourishes a system with unique rules. Islam's most crucial role is to construct a way of life that is in line with this divine concept, manifesting in a practical way of life devoted to servitude and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This concept fundamentally disagrees with all Jahili ways of life, old or new. This is because Islam is built upon the subservience of mankind to Allah alone, in their understanding, beliefs, legislation, laws, and values. This is all to free humanity from the shackles of bondage to man-made concepts and systems. On the other hand, Jahiliyya seeks to enslave people to one another in the form of humans legislating for one another and making one group serve and obey another. Islam and Jahiliyya are on opposite sides of the spectrum, and there's no way they can meet in the middle. What a vast difference there is between servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which brings honor and elevation to the individual, on one side, and humiliating servitude to people, bowing to their whims and working for their interests. Islam does not accept half-baked solutions with Jahiliyya, not from an ideological perspective, and not from any details pertaining to ideology. It is either Islam or Jahiliyya. There is no situation which is half Islam, half Jahiliyya, that Islam will embrace and accept. Islam's stance is clear. There's only one truth, everything else is misguidance. This is just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran in Surah Yunus, and what can be beyond truth except error? The individual only has two paths, and he must choose only one. This is as Allah states again about mankind, and we have shown him the two ways. And again in the Quran, Allah states, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. The transition from the parched plains of Jahiliyya to the oasis of Islam is a very, very large one, and people must understand and know this. It is not right of us to deceive you into thinking that this is an easy transition or it would be quick.
The caller to Allah must be full of certainty and superiority when it comes to the truth that they are upon, as well as a certain amount of strength, self-control, and lack of fear, so that they are able to fully proclaim the truth. Without this strong proclamation of the truth, the caller will in fact divert people from the way of Allah whenever he hesitates, fumbles, or blandishes them. The caller must therefore be armed with clarity, insistence, and defiance. When the caller is reluctant, they are in fact misguiding others from the path of Allah in addition to betraying their own course. Unfortunately, many of those who speak of Islam speak as if they are defending it against accusations or attempting to justify it, citing modern regimes who have done worse things, bringing Islam down to their level while stating that Islam has not done anything beyond what these systems only accomplished after 1400 years. What a pathetic defense of Islam this is. We have even seen examples of books with titles such as Religion in the Position of Defense and Religion in the Defendant's Seat. Islam does not need the justification of Jahili systems that have caused misery as a result of their actions. These civilizations that dazzle many and create within them feelings of defeat are nothing but Jahili systems at their core. They are lowly, failed systems with many shortcomings in comparison to Islam. We need not use the better living conditions of their people as an example in comparison to the so-called Islamic world. They, i.e. the so-called Muslims, have reached that pitiful state as a result of abandoning Islam, not because they are Muslims. We must not reach such a desperate state that we look for comparisons between Islam and modern regimes. We completely reject all of these regimes, whether in the East or the West. We reject them all because they are degenerate and regressive in comparison to what Islam desires for humanity to reach.
Our advice is frank. Humanity must understand what it is being called to, and we must clarify that we carry something completely different to what they are upon now. You must comprehend that this Jahiliyya is filth, and that Allah wants to purify you. These circumstances that you're in are ugly, and Allah wants to beautify you. These lives you lead are lowly, and Allah wants to elevate you. This reality that you live in is wretched, deplorable, and miserable, and Allah wants to relieve you, to have mercy upon you, and grant you happiness. Islam will change your perception, your circumstances, and values, elevating you into a lifestyle that will make you abhor your current life. It is necessary that the caller to Allah has lived under the shade of this religion in happiness and lived with the Quran and savored it in order to convey with confidence that they will truly be happy and enjoy life when they come into the fold of Islam. Allah says, "Say in the bounty of Allah and in His mercy, in that let them rejoice. It is better than what they accumulate." Emotive and loving language must be part of their repertoire, for the messengers and callers to Allah did not hate their people. In fact, they cared for them deeply and underwent much pain and difficulties for their sake, so that they convey to them the truth and save humanity from wretchedness. Islam spoke to them in the language of love and emotion that is a component of its truth. It was also simultaneously frank and open, for that is also the way of the truth. Feeling superior in a deep sense that this religion is truly from Allah, that it is the truth opposing the falsehood, and that it is here to save humanity from its wretched state. The following questions will not be answered in this clip, but can be found in the book. Is establishing an Islamic lifestyle an easy feat, considering the fact that Islam is an easy religion? What would happen if Islam was at the forefront, leading humanity today? How would that reflect on people's lives? What is the motivation for the callers to the true religion of Allah, despite all the animosity and challenges it faces? What truly drives those who call to Allah that makes them carry on, despite all the difficulties they face? Can Islam work in sync with the regimes present today? What are the dangers of psychological defeat in the face of widespread falsehood, especially the Western world? Is there a defined method for dealing with the Jahiliyya in this period of Islam's second strangeness? What are the highlights of this method? جزاكم الله خير.
على ثقة من طريق إلى الله رب السنا والشروق فإن عافني السوق أو عاقني فإني أمين لعهد الوثيق